Hi, everybody. This is the abiding place, and we recognize that we are fully abiding in the Godhead, and the Godhead is in us. And so we love to view ourselves from that reality. And this is the 11th of November, 2019. We welcome everybody to join us tonight. We're going to have a wonderful time.
And I'm first up for kind of setting the stage today. Our last meeting 2 weeks ago, we were led to actually a very powerful, we each had a pretty profound personal experience of being in the realm of perfection. And we were experiencing ourselves both kind of as a being with, a form, and also as just kind of being light some of the time, so both the particle and the wave. We were experiencing the joy and the peace and delight of the perfection of God, and that being very distinct from perfectionism, where it was just this peace and relaxation and just such a desire to be fully inclusive, wanting all of the cosmos, all of the created realm to come into the perfection of God and experiencing that. And I kind of just kept riffing on that for the last 2 weeks in some of my personal practices, which was delightful as well. And we all kind of felt like we were led to kind of extend that being in perfection. And part of what came to us in our previous meeting together was that the cross and the power of the cross, and how what we've kind of been taught the power of the cross has only been kind of a little piece of what the power of the cross is, and how us dwelling in perfection and perfection dwelling in us is part of what the cross has brought us. And we just kind of, my experience as we were meeting together earlier, that bringing that experientially further into our being, so we know and experience within ourselves our connection to perfection through Jesus, and allowing perfection to manifest through us, because that's where we dwell, and it dwells in us. So I think someone else is going to expand on this, but we had a couple of visions on what perfection is like. One thing that it's like is that it's like a multifaceted diamond. So there are many facets, there can be many expressions, but there is one form, there is one sound. And there's a bit more on that. But I'm going to say over to you, Michelle.
Yeah, thanks, Quinn. Yeah, we were just being shown a beautiful eagle, and this beautiful eagle was huge and full of color, but the waves of light and lightning rods were just flashing, pulsating out of this beautiful eagle. And we were seeing and hearing the sound of the eagle, and the sound that it was making. Then other eagles were making sounds, and they heard all the sounds together, and all of a sudden the sounds came into one sound, and it was a single resonating frequency. But at the same time as it was a single resonating frequency, there were different things being spoken, or sounds being released. So it wasn't that it was just one thing being spoken, it was that the frequency was one. So we began to realize that this is what the New Jerusalem is like. It's about a sound that you can identify and discern, and that's God. And we were seeing that this is part of the perfection when we all have this frequency. And we may be saying different things, but it sounds like one. And that's over to you, Kathy.
My only addition was just that so many people are thinking about the end times and waiting for that, and for when that does happen, that everyone will turn to, become one accord. When in actuality, the New Jerusalem is now, and it's just a matter of us recognizing that beginning stage of having one frequency. And my desire, of course, is to have that be the conversation versus the end time conversation.
Amen.
Well, we've got to participate if we want it
to. Elliot?
I'm sorry. If we want it to come about, there are a bunch of participatory pieces. So, you can't actually expect it to come without doing the work. And part of that work does have to do with engaging perfection. And once you see that, then you know how to form the stuff around here so it can come.
Right. And we were also seeing that, engaging with the cloud of witnesses and the men in white linen in a deeper relationship, to where we really become infused with the way they relate, because we recognize that there's no boxes, there's no formulas, there's no,
no us and them.
Yeah, us and them. No comparisons. No, celebrities among them. There's nothing like that. The connection between them is so one and so full that each person or being, a facet of what they actually are of God, is just so totally equal and highly valuable in essence. So the dynamics of their relationship and the dynamics that we can experience by engaging them will frees us from, the patterns we've grown up with. And even that might still have been a part of the ecclesia, those patterns has become a non-entity for us. And the boxes that we've formed where we've feel like this is the way it is, or that's the way it should be, and those boxes are smashed, because we're coming into this sensitivity to be an agreeableness with the sound of that resonating sound of heaven.
Yes. So when we talked about it before, so we just want to maybe focus on one of those pictures. If it's the eagles, or the eagle with lots of different colored feathers representing the different bits but within union, or the multifaceted diamond, where we can have our distinct facet but we are all one, or even in that realm of perfection, because those are the unified but not uniform expression, is I think powered by that realm of perfection. So maybe we'll just think about, see what those images lead us to. And Lavon, you're new with us. Everybody, we really recognize that everyone is on equal standing, that we are all kings and priests. And whatever you get, even if it seems to not fit with what people have said before, we really value and have space to hear what may be coming up for you, whether it's something visual or any of your other senses. It's all valid, and we really encourage participation. So
thank you.
someone wants to lead us in.
Why don't you, Quinn?
I did last time. Oh, beloved, we are so delighted that we can turn in to heaven, to perfection, to your heart, to your love, that we are constantly in union with you, and that we are learning to know that on so many other levels. And we are so thankful for the blood of Jesus and the work of the cross, and for all the heavenly beings that are supporting us. We are desiring to just be led in whatever way you desire, Father. Papa, yes. And we're open to whatever teacher you want to show us, whether it's pictures or another being. We know that every good and perfect gift is coming from you, and you are our focus, and we desire wisdom to walk with us and to be taught by the seven spirits. And we welcome the living letters, and we are so thankful, and we are thankful for the experience of the realm of perfection. And we do desire to go deeper into that and to become more aware of it more deeply in us, and for you to express your perfection, your perfect love in and around us. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
I should say also, Lavon, this group is not afraid of silence. It's okay to be having your experience and then sharing it, or however.
Okay, thank you.
But I will also say that just closing my eyes and focusing a little more there, I don't normally hear as much, but I'm sensing the faceted diamond, and I am hearing a resonance. I am hearing a frequency, and it's kind of awesome.
Yeah, that would be really, really awesome.
I'm also seeing the colors in a anti-clockwise circles around us. Oftentimes seen, anti-clockwise movement, and we've often thought of that in terms of untethering, but I'm just seeing it in a different way. I'm seeing the beautiful colors radiating off of the circle that we are in and around. So maybe it's also the colors that are expressing what perfection we are in. that there, in the place of perfection, there's no need for untethering. Just want to confirm that when we talk about seeing or hearing, we also want to include sensing, feeling, tasting, smelling the fragrance, and so on.
So what I was seeing was a swan swimming around a lake and creating a ripple. And I was wondering what a swan signifies. And it signifies, symbolizes grace and beauty, and is associated with love, music, and poetry. And in Roman mythology, swan was sacred to Venus, the goddess of love. Don't really know what that's all about, but.
And also to Saint Bridget. The swan was significant with her as well.
Who is that?
Saint Bridget of Kildare.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Are you familiar?
Not with her but she was also associated with fire, which is also purity, and the feminine, because she was a feminine leader in the early Celtic church, and she had 19 disciples, women disciples, and they, she was hugely respected, and she was a bishop, and like church recognized bishop, and yeah. So, and it's interesting because Michelle kept saying anti-clockwise, and I've learned that before there were clocks, what people called that was moonwise, and which is also connected with the feminine. So I'm just sensing a lot of maybe that more nurturing, life-giving side of things. I don't know.
Of perfection. Yeah. Interesting. Very interesting. I did see when this when the swan was swimming, it was going counterclockwise. It was not going clockwise for sure, because the ripples were going out.
Moonwise, and that made me
Yeah.
think of Michelle had said earlier, the eagle putting out the sound and then seeing those sound frequencies coming like a ripple from heaven into the earth. So I think that's another picture of that. If we are in that resonance of perfection, that is in fact having a ripple effect, whether or not we are consciously aware of it.
That's such a true point that you just said there, Quinn, about even though we're not consciously aware of it, because I think that's actually so true, that we are probably not aware, as exactly of what the resonance is that's even coming out of us. But just to come back to the New Jerusalem and that understanding that we see that's the frequency of the New Jerusalem. It's perfection.
Yeah, it's interesting how nature shows us it in different forms. Because I was just seeing, or actually hearing, the sound of leaves blowing in the wind.
I saw that at the park yesterday. We had a beautiful day and I took my daughter for a picnic, and the leaves were just dancing. Just the air was full of them just dancing and dancing in the wind.
Interesting.
I think there's something also about the swan that they, if I'm not mistaken, are faithful to one mate.
Yes, I believe that's true. I can't remember all the rest of the song, but there's just this one little piece that keeps coming back, and it goes, as the swan in the evening moves over the lake. And that's just the picture that Kathy shared.
I think that's why also choruses are so beautiful, because it's all the different voices coming together in harmony. So it's like the Eagles, how they each sounded differently, and then they all create this sound. I don't know what made me think of a chorus, but it's all perfection, I guess.
Yeah, so one heart, one mind.
One song with many parts.
Mm.
And I did get another piece of that song, which is the refrain, which is, "It will not be long, love, till our wedding day." So.
Huh. Yeah, and that has to do with the swan. And then I was thinking of David too, because he was a psalmist. But I don't know. It seems like he's a part of this tonight.
That's interesting, because I was up in the middle of the night last night and sensing him. Just as
Cool.
the expression, right? And maybe that's just it, that music is, and I mean, it's been said for ages, music is a language of heaven, and but maybe just that's just being emphasized to us, that for me personally, with a musical background that's been dormant for a long time, it's a theme that's been coming up for me to be more intentional about using that as, you know, for joy and for beauty, but conscious that it's a really direct way to release frequency, and through music you can bypass the brain and go to the heart with people, which is really helpful.
It's wonderful to recognize that we actually exist in that realm of perfection, because we do exist in all the realms, right? And so the scripture that's come to my mind, of course, is that we were all appointed to be conformed to the full image of nothing less than the standard height of Christ's own perfection. So we're anointed and appointed for that. So it actually fits us so beautifully. So we actually feel like this is so much home to be in that realm of perfection. It just is like I find my whole being says, I belong here, and I long for this reality to live fully in it.
And to me, that's really speaking of the restoration of all things, right? And yeah. Yeah, okay, well, you said that, Michelle, and that put me right back into the deep water place in the realm of perfection, where I'm just floating and just feeling it.
You know, when you said that, Quinn, I started to just meditate with gratitude for the swan and for the trees and the leaves of the trees and for the eagle and for the creation, and just recognizing that that we're to participate in bringing them into that perfection, to manifestation of perfection for them. And it
Amen.
fills my heart with love and a sense of the childlike wonder with Daddy that everything in all of creation has you know, is to be embraced and loved and cherished, of all that Father created. Mm.
Yes, yes, yes.
You know, earlier I was also hearing the sound of bells. And I was, what was coming to me was perfect alignment, you know. And the wonderful thing about being in this realm of perfection is no one can tell you you're not perfect. Oh, you're just not quite there yet, you know.
Yeah, in yourself.
What also was coming to me about those bells was um, again about frequency and how you know that if you have a glass and you put your finger around it and you get the sound of it, and if you can create a frequency that's the same sound as that sound that the glass makes, it cracks the glass. And so what I was getting was that again about the sound when the frequency, um, what you say or what you release totally resonates with the realm of heaven of perfection, then it creates the result, a perfection result. You know, there's something like a word spoken that's at the right frequency. It says is like apples of gold in a setting of silver, you know. It's just perfect. It releases a perfect result.
The other thing with bells or instruments with metal strings instead of nylon is that they ring and they keep on ringing until you actually damp them. And so the sound carries and goes on.
Wow. Okay, you know, this might sound crazy, but it's been with me since the start of this engagement. I've been aware of my youngest grandson being with me in the spirit. And I just felt to share it right now. Because I think that there's something about this to do with the young ones, that we may embrace them to engage in the realm of perfection from a young age. Does that resonate with anyone?
If you have little ones in your life, for sure. Yeah. Children don't judge themselves and others, you know, until a certain point, until they're taught the differentiation and the comparison and all the things, the us and them. And so I think they're naturally quite tied to the realm of perfection. So since we've been engaging in perfection, it seems reasonable to me that he's connected there.
Yeah, and I felt like that we could just engage to agree for this manifestation, you know, to take place with the little ones. We just call for that reality to be their reality and to actually progress in that reality, so that they don't get drawn into false standards and the false evaluations, you know?
Yeah, and not believe the negative voices that come at them, but
Yeah.
for them to know the perfection in them. Yes, yes, yes.
Should we just do this together, governmentally agree together? Does anybody sense that we should do that?
I'm in favor.
Sure, we can do that.
Aye.
I'm not sure what we're doing.
Okay. Okay. Basically, just recognizing, I would say, that in this place of perfection is a place for little ones to be drawn into from, to be led into, and to be able to grow forward in. And
I think it's for them to be aware of it, because I think they already are, right?
yeah,
Like we all are in all the realms. So that awareness, and for that awareness to shape their self-perception and protect them
yes,
from worldly attack.
right. So that they become familiar with the realm of perfection. And there's all the realms of heaven, right? There's heaven, there's the heaven of heavens, there's perfection, there's eternity and infinity, and just heaven. The realm of perfection is one of the realms of heaven. And so, since we've been engaging there, and I've seen my grandson there, I just felt like we should, we as sons, we often just govern together. In other words, we come into an agreement on something, and we call it in. We call it to manifest.
Oh, all right.
And if you have, any that you specifically, of your own grandkids, or just standing together for the little ones that are, between not born yet, or just up till, say, I don't know, 7, 8, 9, 10. In fact, we could call them all in. I just had a sense that, this is what Father wants. He doesn't want the generations any longer to go by false images of themselves, So I just say, how shall we do this?
Well, I'm really resonating with it, Michelle. So
Good.
yeah, maybe you or I can just make a statement, and we can, and the rest can agree, and maybe if you've got a throne in heaven, sit on
Right.
it, and bring your staff down in agreement to cause it to be done. Because I actually saw us all on blue. Well, I don't know exactly who it was, but I saw a circle of blue thrones that opened a portal to allow for manifesting heaven into earth when there was agreement.
Okay, go ahead and do that, Quinn. Lead it.
And so we know you've given us thrones, beloved, and that we are your priests and kings, and we receive on the basis of your perfection and your perfection in us our right to sit in these places, and we receive our marks of government including his staff. Is the image I keep getting. And those in agreement, we call forth for little ones, and you know who that's intended for little ones to be aware and awake, subconsciously or even consciously, we ask, of your place of perfection, for that to be a place that they encounter in their dreams.
Yes.
And experience and know and learn that when the world is attacking them, that they can turn into that. And we ask for your presence to be heavy upon them, for specific children in our lives and those yet to come, and across the world, that they would know who they are, and that they would know your perfection in them also, and they would know their belovedness, because perfection is really love, and that they would know themselves as beloved of God. They would know themselves as accepted of God, and that this would be a protection. And I'm seeing angels as well being assigned to be guarding and protecting and guiding, and standing really strong, a very, very big shields and stuff, protecting the hearts and the identities of these little ones. And we call for them to grow untouched and unscathed by the lies and the garbage that the worldly system may throw at them, for them to know that they know that they know, in a deep place experientially within themselves, in their hearts, in their bodies, that they would know their true identity as beloved and as perfect. And together, and I look to Jesus. Jesus is in this circle as well, and he nods. And I'm seeing us each raising a staff, and the act is to pound the ground with the staff. And I think it's 4 times. And so we call for that to come forth. Get your staff, and just as led, bring it down. And we call for that to be released, for that frequency of perfection. For that song to come into their hearts and their minds, to remain with them and to sing to them as you sing over them. And for that song to rise up as before them, that frequency to rise up before them as an ark of protection and preservation. Yes. Angels be released.
And when you said 4, you know, that 4 times creates a window. So it creates the portal for the release of that which we've just requested and agreed upon and decreed.
Four makes a door.
Yes.
And I should point out that I have seen this armor before, and it was like gold skin.
You saw that armor on children?
Young people, older than you were shooting for, but it's basically a generational paradigm. And the new thing that I hadn't seen was seeing the perfection, not just some defense, but the offense of knowing who you really are.
Yeah, and age-wise, that's, meant to be inclusive for all that it's meant for. Yeah.
Yeah, you're looking at like God's vision, not television, right?
Mm, yes. If you see anything else as we've just done this, just let's hang here for a minute and see what else we hear or see or sense. I know that there are crowns for pretty much everything. And so I would, I was just seeing these little ones sitting together, just laughing and celebrating the fact that they had these crowns of perfection on their heads. And they were saying, "Look, yours is like this, and yes, but yours is like this." And they were just, celebrating the different crowns of perfection that they could see that each other had. The crown of perfection.
Yes, because with that, when you understand yourself as perfect, you don't need to be in competition with anybody else.
Exactly.
Wow. That'll shift the culture.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I saw somebody trying to push like on the phone, and the phone just burnt, just like on fire, smoldering, doesn't work anymore. Like like you can't push like in this paradigm, right? It's not that you can't like, but the effort of doing that uh, against one of these ones just destroys your phone. So anyway, I thought that was kind of poetic.
I've missed you, Elliot.
you you have missed me, or did you not understand what I was saying?
I missed your unique perspective. That's
Oh well, thank you. I'm very pleased to be here.
So these little ones are going to hear the sound of perfection. They're going to resonate with that sound. They're going to recognize that, which is wonderful. Mm. So we can also say that as we say, I'm in Christ, Christ is in me, we also can say, therefore, I live in perfection, perfection lives in me.
Yes. Dwell is the word I've been using. I dwell in perfection. Perfection dwells in me. I don't know, for me that just has a long-term
yeah.
ring to it.
Yeah. Exactly. And it really makes me happy. Mm.
I'm kind of sensing completion. Is anybody else still deep and things to share?
I'm good.
I'm still engaging, but I think we can frame up our meeting time.
Yeah, I just got the hit on that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Good. So what did we cover here? Oh, sorry, go ahead, Alex.
Oh, I'm sorry. I must have hit talk. I was just praying in the spirit.
Okay. So carrying on in perfection from last week, or from the last couple weeks ago, which you can just stay there, Michelle. That's what I did last time. It's kind of great. Yeah. We engaged perfection through frequency in a number of ways. We had the picture of the swan with the ripples, and before we'd had the eagle with the lightnings and the rippling frequency coming from that.
We had the leaves.
Yes, the leaves in the wind as another expression of that. And last time, 2 weeks ago, we had we were calling forth the whole cosmos into perfection, remember? And we were just wanting to be so fully inclusive and including everything and everyone. And then we got the more specific direction and a more clear governmental act around calling children, young people into this truth, and really anyone and everyone who needs it. We're all children in heaven, really. So that was an interesting progression. I'm a little loopy here, so if anybody else has things to add.
Well, I think that we're just moving into even more of the restoration of all things in terms of in terms of engaging in recognizing the reality of perfection in us and us in perfection, and how it's changing our whole viewpoint of going forward, that we really are being broken free from the wrong images and realms that are ungodly, and really are coming into our full resonance as a new Jerusalem. And this is really so where we belong. We really belong here.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So we're just really, really grateful for the fact that we can continue to engage in and just turn into perfection and go deeper into the relational aspects and the frequencies and the dynamics of it. So we just want to take what we've engaged so far, Lord, and just plant it in the garden of our hearts. And thank you for continuing to take us in deeper as we go through the next few days and weeks, so that we actually recognize that we are dwelling in perfection. Anyone else? Okay, thank you.